Good morning. Welcome to Prog Monster. My name's Murph. I'll be your host. Today we're doing a look back at a classic rock album from, actually this one's from the early 70s, from one of my group of seven, one of my favorite groups. Especially they were one of the first rock bands that I got into when I started into music. And this particular album, I think, is a bit of pretty close to, if not a masterpiece. There's no real weak songs on this album. A couple of pieces I'm not as crazy about as the rest, but generally speaking, it's a pretty solid album right through. And of course, I'm speaking about Black Sabbath's Volume 4. Tremendous album. The production's a little fuzzy on this, but it has like some real killer tracks on it and some heavy stuff. And in that time period, like probably in the mid 70s to late 70s, when I was first getting into rock music, I was into really heavy stuff. I liked Kiss, and everything had to be at least that heavy or I wouldn't listen to it. In fact, I didn't listen to much but Kiss up until probably about 78, very little bit. But Black Sabbath was one of the bands I would listen to. Of course, the song Paranoid was on the radio all the time, so that was probably my first Sabbath track, and I liked it. But later on, I got into more of their stuff, and this was one of the albums I got into in the late 70s, and it's an amazing album. It's featuring the classic Black Sabbath lineup: Ozzy Osbourne on vocals, Tony Iommi on guitars, Geezer Butler on bass, and Bill Ward playing the drums. To me, Bill Ward is a very underrated drummer too. A lot of the stuff, just solid rock drumming. Anyways, we'll start off by talking about the tracks. I'm just going to put my glasses on so I can make sure I can read them properly. The first song on this album is The Wheels of Confusion, the Straightener. The Wheels of Confusion, really solid track, really good opening track, heavy, typical Iommi grinding type guitar riffs, spectacular. Tomorrow's Dream was probably my first favorite song on this album. When I first started listening to it, I used to play that track quite a bit. Sometimes I'd skip the album and I'd only have time for one or two tracks, and that would always be one of them. Just a grinding song. I really like the kind of grinding part of the guitar at the end too. It's just spectacular. The next song, Changes, I didn't initially like the song because it's a ballad by a heavy metal band. So, I mean, ballad wise, it's a bit heavier than most ballads, but and it got a lot of radio airplay when the album came out. Solid. For a I wouldn't say it's a ballad, but it's much softer than most of the material on here. But it's a really good, catchy song. I used to sing it quite a bit. It never was my favorite on the album, but I never disliked it. And I never pass it by when I'm listening. When I'm doing a whole album, I don't skip over it or anything. The next track is just a small bit called FX, kind of a different little bit. It's not something I thought much about. It's interesting, but it's so short, it doesn't really play into me. But it does set up Supernaut, which is a crunching, grinding, pounding song that just pounds along and just really is classics, a classic kind of Black Sabbath song, and it was one of my favorites. This and Tomorrow's Dream were the two songs I used to listen to a lot when I first got the album, and I still listen to both of them, but they're not my favorites on the album anymore. We're moving down into some of the more deeper tracks, which I think are better songs. Snowblind, crunching, loving song. I love this song. It's so I don't know how to say it. So just it really touches a part of you. I don't know if it's my favorite song, but it's right up there. Then we get to Cornucopia, another similar type of song, and I really dig it. I always play those two. If I'm just going on the internet looking for something to listen to or Sabbath, those are two of the songs I would listen to quite a bit. I like this Laguna Sunrise. I know it's a classical bit. It's somewhat unusual for a heavy metal band to do a classical bit like this, but Sabbath does it well. They do it in a few instances, and this is one of the better ones. Venus Dance is one of the songs I've never really gotten into wholly, but I don't dislike it. I will listen to it. I never turn it off or anything. Under the Sun, Every Day Comes and Goes. Great song. Nice finish to the album. The production on the album's a little monotone, I guess might be the best way to describe it. But the songs are fantastic. I highly recommend, if you're starting out with Black Sabbath, this is a good album to start with. It's not as heavy as Masters of Reality or Heaven and Hell, but or the grindingness that you get on Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath, but it's still a very, very good album. Probably ranks up there in my top 5 Sabbath albums. And again, the album, Black Sabbath, Volume 4. Anyways, that's it for the look back at a classic album today. I hope you liked the video. I'm trying to do as many as I'm able to. And I really like to talk about rock, and especially the stuff from the 70s, which I grew up on. And so if you like it, let me know. And subscribe if you like me and want to hear more stuff that I'm talking about. And thank you for joining us here today on Prog Monster. Have a good day.